Hey everyone, happy New Year's Eve. We had a fun group tonight for our last group ride of the year. We did the base camp map breakaway intervals with normalized or neuromuscular power activation at the beginning, and then a little bit of high cadence tempo at the end. So I've got TJ up here for review. Thanks for joining tonight, TJ. Always fun having you and your energy in the group. And you did an awesome job today. So this was one of those workouts where it was our first like true higher intensity workout. We've done a lot of aerobic work, sub threshold. Um, I mean, other than our FTP test, we've done a little bit of maybe around threshold openers or FTP surges with tempo, but primarily we have been focused on sub-threshold, aerobic endurance sort of intensity. So today we wanted to kind of wake up the rest of our muscle fibers in our bodies, really wake up the bigger motor units that are involved when we are producing a lot of power. So force very quickly, very high amounts of force or power. And those are, those fast twitch fibers are not generally recruited until we really need them. So if we don't work them, they kind of tend to not easily activate. I told this story, or not story, but I gave the example of one of the tests we used to do in the exercise phys lab, and it was called a maximal voluntary activation or contraction protocol. So we get people to, we tell them to maximally contract their quadriceps muscle, and we do it, and they think that they're giving all they can give. And then we put an electrical stimulus, and we deliver that to maximally recruit the quad muscle. And no one ever really gets close to maximal contraction when you're thinking about like a voluntary contraction. So this is kind of the idea with the activations, the neuromuscular power activation. So the 15-second sprints at the beginning. We're going to see these more and more as we do some of our workouts throughout the rest of the program. But the idea was really to just like wake everything up. And then we use those bigger fibers when we got into the max aerobic power part of the workout with the 40 seconds hard with very short 20-second recoveries. And then for each of those 3 intervals, we finished with 2 minutes at FTP. Now, some of you thought this workout was easy. And some of you like blew through the targets. You were like, no problem. Like, this is my kind of work. Some of you struggled a little bit, especially early on, trying to figure out like what target made sense for you. So that really speaks to, we all have different phenotypes or physiology. Some of us are more endurance fibers or highly a greater percentage of slow twitch muscle fibers. And some of us are more fast twitch. We can produce, we have higher anaerobic capacity. Let's just say that. So TJ, if you look at the plan versus completed, we wanted you to do this in incline mode, and we wanted you to control your power and really go hard. It's very difficult to program in a group like this, a structured workout with a supra threshold intensity prescription. So the idea was really, we just wanted you to go hard. So you got the intended stimulus of the workout, which was 1, the activation. So activating the big motor units, and 2, some type of like maximal aerobic stimulus. And that again is really the highest amount of oxygen your body can take in and actually utilize to make energy. So TJ's planned and completed, his time was just 2 minutes. Different than completed was 2 minutes longer than planned. That's just how the Zwift workout was programmed. But the intensity, or the TSS, look at that, the training stress score and the intensity factor. So we had a planned IF of 0.8, and he did completed an IF of 0.83, which means his TSS was higher, so planned TSS of 68, and he did 76. So let's dig into why that is. I'll go to analyze, and you see the workout in the background here. And that's the ranges, right? So we said everyone was going to have to control an incline, their power output based on what they felt made the most sense for them, what was hard for them. Hard, but repeatable too. We didn't want you to go like so hard that you couldn't do the workout. And that's all learned pacing and kind of learning, what hard means for you. So you can see that all of his power targets were higher than the upper end of the range, which again was totally normal. It was not the case for me. But many of the people on our ride were saying like, yeah, I was above target and it didn't feel that bad. Like they liked them. So you can see, in the 15-second sprints, TJ was super high in the first. He dialed it back in the next two. I did suggest that everyone just sort of do the first 40 seconds with a little bit of control just to kind of feel out the target. And TJ did exactly that. I mean, he was like perfectly in range on that first 40 seconds. He decided to push it harder on the second one and then a little bit kind of in the middle on the third one. But the goal really was to push those 40 seconds. Now you know what you can do. So he knows now based on his first interval what he can do the second one and the third one. And now when we do 40-second efforts again, we're going to, 40-20s are a common workout. You'll know better what you can target based on what you did today. So definitely take a look at what your completed 40-second average interval power was and use that as your starting point the next time you do a workout like this. So the goal was to push the 40 seconds. We really wanted you to drive the demand for oxygen up quickly. And the 20-second recoveries is pretty short. And that's what allows this type of interval format to actually stimulate your max aerobic capacity. So the need for oxygen is still there. Your body's trying to catch up and deliver that oxygen. Even though these 40 seconds, you're truly like, it's an anaerobic effort, right? But over time, when you stack the 40-second intervals using your anaerobic power, there's a max aerobic component to it because your heart rate doesn't go down. Your cardiovascular system is working hard to deliver that oxygen quickly, thinking there's going to be another interval coming up. So we did 3 of those, and then we settled into 2 minutes at FTP. And the goal for the FTP part was really to control it, stay at target, not really above it. Definitely not crushing it like an anaerobic interval or like a VO2 max interval. So we wanted you to go hard on the 40 seconds, control the FTP. When we got through the first set, we evaluated and said, okay, now if you struggled hitting the FTP effort, then maybe you should dial down the 40-second efforts on the second round. And if you thought it was easy, then go ahead and push harder on the 40 seconds. And I look at TJ's workout here and he was pretty spot on. Like he definitely, found his control in the 2-minute FTP interval, recovered. The 40 seconds, he was just a little bit above target, but it was pretty close. And then again, like he felt good in the FTP efforts. I can tell. You can see the power going up. And then he smashed the third set. You could see the 40-second power was pretty much the highest it was for the whole workout. And actually same with the FTP. And we said, go, you can push it on the last one a little bit. I do want to look at the cadence to see how he made that power. That's another indicator of, is he handling the workload with control or is he struggling? If you see cadence dropping and he's like doing everything he can to turn over the pedals to make that power, that's not control. And so I would have said, okay, back it off, TJ. But if I look at his cadence is high for the 40-second efforts and it's stable high for the FTP efforts. You don't really see it dropping. Well, it's a little low, but it's not dropping, I'll say that. So he actually even increased his cadence as he got through the final 2-minute FTP effort. So I would say, definitely did the workout well within his control. I would say, figure out what your 40-second power was in this last effort here and use that as your starting point. Next time you do a 40-20 workout, that's your starting point for your target. We finished with a little bit of fatigue resistance tempo again. I think everyone probably was feeling a little bit better than they thought they would be after the MAP breakaway workout. And the idea, like we like to feel we feel good when tempo feels easy. So we've recruited all these muscle fibers, you know, turned on all these motor units, used them, and now we're just using a small percentage of those muscle fibers, a slow twitch, to shuttle some lactate to take it up and use it, recirculate, you know, all the byproducts, and kind of like just really allow your body's aerobic system to work, to recover, and um to help you make energy in that final um tempo block. It was only 5 minutes. We'll start to extend the fatigue resistance tempo, but this was such a good example of a dynamic workout that kind of hits all the energy systems, um the elements of fatigue resistance, you know, max aerobic capacity with some anaerobic power and repeatability. So lots of things going on in here. The final thing I want to look at is the heart rate. And you can see that when he um, does the map breakaway intervals specifically, this is what I mean by when you do the 40 seconds hard, your heart rate goes up and it stays up. It doesn't really come down that much. And so that's why these are another good format to um, work and improve your VO2 max, or your max aerobic capacity. We could do steady state intervals. So we could have done, you know, 4 or 5 minute steady state VO2 max intervals, which those are great. But this is another alternative. So, it's just how you execute it is different. You go 40 seconds, like more anaerobic, higher anaerobic power, building that repeatability in. So you're really firing those big muscle fibers differently and recruiting them differently, but the oxygen demand is still there. So we're not measuring that, but you can see based on the heart rate staying up, it is a good indicator that 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 oxygen demand is still there. The cardiovascular system is still working hard. The heart is beating fast to try to deliver that oxygen. So getting hopefully the intended stimulus that we want for building VO2 max. Today's workout was not building VO2 max. It was more just like stimulating it, and more of like a maintenance sort of workout. If you were to stack these type of workouts, let's say you're getting close to race season, or you're yeah, like a race or whatever, you might be doing more of these types of workouts to really sharpen and increase that capacity. So it wouldn't just be like one every few weeks, but you would do more than that. So anyway, everyone, have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and we will see you Thursday for another workout. Thanks.